Hello, darlings, and welcome back to Diva Deep Cuts, where we journey through the best songs you've never heard by the great divas of today and yesterday. I am your host, Ben, and thank you so much for watching or listening. So, today, we're going to cover what is a deep cut exactly and why you should check them out. Since, I talk about them all the time, but I think it would help to provide just like a clear definition about what they are so that, as people discover this show or people who have been listening just have the same information for what exactly we're talking about. So before we get to that, first, please subscribe to the podcast, like and subscribe here on YouTube if that's where you're checking this out. And don't forget to check out the deep cuts of the day on social media and YouTube Shorts, as well as divadeepcuts.com to stay up to date with everything going on with this show. So we need two definitions in order to help us define what deep cut is, or really deep cut is one of the definitions, but you get the idea. So the first definition is that of a single. So in the days before there was streaming and digital downloading, record labels would actually print and issue CD singles, cassette singles, vinyl singles for a particular song, send them out to stores, and promote that song to radio stations. Sometimes they would call it a double A side, where radio could play either song that was released on the physical single, and all of it would count towards its placement on Billboard charts and other music charts. But then that shifted with time as record labels started just promoting songs to radio without releasing a physical single to boost album sales. So then in the 21st century, this has continued to kind of evolve and get weirder, where when the internet came into play, some songs on streaming take off without much, if any, promotion or expectation by record labels. Sometimes there can be fan buying campaigns of particular songs for chart placements. Sometimes there have been promotional digital singles released and lightly promoted in the lead up to an album release. So I think the clearest definition of what a single is today is a song from an album that a record label actively promotes to radio stations. Oftentimes it can come with similar promotion on playlists on streaming services, but it's like a song that is actively being worked by a record label for an artist's album campaign. Now, so that is, I'm trying to think of big hits to be all encompassing. You think of Madonna and her many hits like Music, Hung Up, Vogue, Like a Prayer. Those are all singles where you could either buy it in a store or it was actively worked to radio stations. A deep cut is the other side of the coin. A deep cut, it can be an album track, a bonus track on a deluxe version or international edition of an album. It can be a one-off song on a movie soundtrack or some kind of compilation that was just recorded and put there but never promoted in any capacity by a record label or an artist's team. So that is what we focus on. And that's really what it is. It's something that, unless it's a really, really big selling album, like one of Adele's records or one of Taylor Swift's records, or like Jagged Little Pill, or earlier albums by Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and Whitney Houston that have sold like over 10 million copies. Shania Twain's Come On Over is another good example, that it had 12 singles and sold. It's the best-selling album by a solo artist since Billboard began tracking retail sales at point of sale for their music charts. So the songs that were not singles from those albums are probably more well-known than some singles and than other deep cuts by artists that did not quite have that level of blockbuster success. So that's really what it is. And so then I also wanted to talk about why I like them and why I wanted to focus on them. For me personally, I often find them to be hidden gems in artists' catalogs, where if I put on an album and let it play, which is something I often do, other people either, I know I'm kind of in a minority in that way, where I think most other people either turn on a broadcast radio station, an internet radio station, or just kind of press play and shuffle on a playlist or on a streaming service and see what comes up and just let it go. I really like experiencing bodies of work created by musical artists. And so I'm more likely to test out an album and just put it on and listen to it from beginning to end. And sometimes I discover amazing pieces of music that were never promoted to radio or otherwise worked as a single that I just love and go back to, and they get stuck in my head. I think about them when I'm not actively listening to music, and I'm always like, I want more people to know about this great music. So that's why I talk about it on here. A great example of a deep cut, one that recently went viral and got uncovered by the public, was for anyone who pays attention to TikTok at all and like trends with the TikTok dance or other sounds on there. I think it was either late 22 or early 2023. The song "It's a Wrap" by Mariah Carey went viral on TikTok, and it got a little EP and a little bit of promotion from like her team and label, or the label that she was on when that song was recorded. And so that was just an album track from her 2009 album, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, that she just happened to have go viral on social media. Like, it caught on and people started copying the trend and using it on TikTok and streaming the song. So it had its little moment. So that's an example of how a deep cut got uncovered and gained more recognition by the wider public. I just wanted to make it to set some foundational definitions for everyone. So thank you for checking this out. I hope it was informative. And I hope that you like and subscribe and listen and watch on YouTube and Spotify going forward. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And please comment below with some of your favorite deep cuts. Until next time, I'm Ben, and this is Diva Deep Cuts.